that Chapter 6 of Fortnite has ended and Chapter 7 has began. I'm going to rank Chapter 6 seasons and my overall enjoyment of them. But just to clarify something, I am nowhere near a pro player, and I'm only playing 0 build. I'm only saying it so that could give you an idea that I'm not really competitive when it comes to Fortnite. And I know that pro players are usually hate seasons where there's an OP item, because it fucks up their way of playing. But, as I said, I am not really a pro player, so I don't care about that shit. Now let's stop talking, and let's get to the ranking bitches. Number 6, Galactic Battle. Yee, I'm 100% sure that no one is surprised that this mini-season is at the bottom of the list, cause it's a pile of shit. Make no mistake, I loved Star Wars at some point in my life, so it has nothing to do with that, honestly. And I also really wanted to love this season bit. Unfortunately, it was terrible glad that it was a mini-season cause it was so boring after the first few days. Okay, first problem, Darth Vader as a boss was too unknowing to fight against, which shouldn't be a problem. If the reward was good, but Vader had the worst lightsaber in the entire fucking update. All it did was throw it forward, and comes back like a boomerang, but much worse, cause it was slower than a normal bullet, and you were, basically, vulnerable. Well, that wasn't in your hand, which was basically all the darn time. The other lightsabers weren't as bad as the Vader one, but most of them weren't that interesting to use except the Vindu sword. I loved that one. Aside from that, there was also the TIE Fighters and the Sith version, which I can't remember the names of. The biggest problem with this mini-season is that it barely did anything interesting or fun with its premise, and also it was fucking boring, which is pretty sad, considering it was only a mini-season. Thankfully, a much better season took its place, but this one was a forgettable, disappointing season. Number 5, Shock and Awesome. Okay, this one was better. Let's start with the positives. I liked the bug invasion theme. It's very unique for Fortnite. Also, the mythic weapons and weapons were better. I remember there were pretty decent medallions that came with, which were after a while were gone. I wonder why. And I also liked how the map slowly started to get more bug infested, and the final Megazord and Bug Queen was epic. All the negatives this season has felt the longest, and there was a certain time when it was so dry that I only played Reload and Blitz Royale for most of the time. Thankfully, at the later parts of the season, they did put in 2 updates, so it won't be boring. The first one was the K-pop Demon Hunters collab, which had the Rumi sword, which was really fun to use, and the Ramens were a good new healing item. And there was K-pop emote stance. But honestly, I prefer the mode that came with it. And there's also the mandatory Halloween update. That was fine. I liked the Ghostface phone booth, free skin mixed wit, a knife was dope. The Megazord mecha fight on the hand was the least boss in the entire chapter. Superman and Godzilla was miles better. Megazord had way too many weaknesses. It was slow as hell. The projectiles weren't available until later. The sword did barely anything. And you have to deal with the bug while also dealing with players. I know people hate when a boss is up, but being this weak isn't much better. And this was supposed to be the highlight of the season. No thanks. Also, the hero ranking is also in this season, but unlike heroes, you can't open specific doors for goods. Only a bunker that requires rank A, and none of them had anything good in it. Overall, this was a disappointing season. It felt like it had nothing in it that the other seasons didn't have. A better version, bug-themed season, wasn't up here, a good idea, but the season weren't that good. Number 4, Lawless. Now this is the point where the seasons have way more good than bad. I find it very ironic that after a Japan-themed season, we get a season about Detroit. Firstly, the negatives, the Surgefire, AMG, the MPD Grande, and the Mammoth Pistol were all shit. Oh, and also, the Kinetic Blade was brought back to this season for some reason, even though the season before that, much better. Also, for some reason, I remember that the Wolf Boss spawned in totally different places, and sometimes it didn't drop the medallion, or is it just me? And also, the Battle Pass was kinda bad. You only had a few good skins, like the Pickle Man and Sub-Zero and Midas, as a bonus reward was not a good idea in my opinion, because we already had that in Remix, which wasn't that long before this update. Okay, now to the positives. I loved the bank robbing the bank part, and how you need to use dynamites for it to explode. The safe machine parts of the nap were also good. I especially loved Chrome City and Shiny Shafts, were my favorite, and I also liked how the train would as a way to get better things, and I loved the kneecapper. It basically made me Ness from Earthbound. This season also added the Mortal Kombat Bridge, and the Forced Witch had Scorpio as a boss, and he was also in the sewers, which also dropped Scorpio's battle kit. There was also Sub-Zero's combat kit was not nearly as good as Scorpio's because that get over here move was Chef's kiss level of satisfying. Overall, Lawless was an overall good season, but to be real with y'all, it wasn't that interesting. It felt a bit small scale, but sometimes that's all we necked. And the bank robbing part was entertaining for the most part, so overall, it's a good season. Number 3, The Simpsons Update. I was honestly surprised that this was the final season of this chapter. I wonder if Family Guy is going to get its own season. And goddammit, I didn't get the battle pass because I always spend it on the OG pass prior to the season. One of my biggest mistakes for sure. Anyway, this season, like all the last seasons, permanently changed the map and made it cell shade. And it looked good, Honesley. My only problem with the map is that it was too short and the purple fog came way too fast. But everything else was great. It felt like a love letter to The Simpsons. It was jam-packed with Simpsons references. I specifically love the phone prank call in Moe's Bar, and I love how you can get random items that chowd lead to mini-quest. I liked the Homer one the most. The bosses were also unique in a way that if you defeat them, Nelson appears to do the iconic haha of his like aethy little bitch he is. I remember the last time they did something similar was also hilarious, and Krusty's Balin Hunt was the best boss drop, no questions asked. And I liked the couch gag that you can do, and I did my fair share of couch shenanigans. And the fact that I can shout at the giant statue his head falls off and becomes a mythic. I love that. Did I mention that you can break the windows now? Now that's badass. And I'm glad that Chapter 7, for now, has kept it. Overall, it was a great mini-season. Was great, but most of the final season before the next chapters are like that, as they shall be. And between Season OG, Remixed, and this does feel like it's the weakest of the most solely, because of the fact that I just prefer those maps for a season finale bit. As a season, this was great, and I loved it. Number 2, Hunters. Yay, the season that started it, and Honesley, it was a banger of a start. I loved the Japan-themed map, and the environment, the stone golems, the big turtle that moves its head, those little sprites, the dojos, the goddamn Parker movement, I love it. And the battle pass felt like it was the best in the entire chapter. Not only do you get Godzilla, that 2 hot ad hell chicks, and a cool looking samurai, but a fucking cat person and Baymax. So yay, there's no denying that this season's battle pass was the best in the entire chapter. Both of the bosses were good. The Night Rose boss was epic cause of the puppet that controller her. But my favorite part was when the boss, Calland with Shogun X, was the most entertaining boss fight. I had the projectiles, mask were forcing you to dodge, while shooting was defiantly a challenge, but the rewards more than make up for it. Cause not only he dropped the sword and the Oni mask, but the best medallion since the Cerberus one. It's basically the only good invisibility medal Fortnite ever did. And there was also the Godzilla season, which wasn't the best boss bit. It was definitely miles better than Megazord, and the Godzilla medallion was also great. Overall, it was a great starter for a chapter, but 1 is better in my opinion. Number 1, Super. Now you may ask, why is this number 1? If I just said that Hunters had better Battle Pass medallions and nap. Real one reason. The weapons in this season were the best and the combat was super fun. Thanks to the Mist Gauntlet, Base Boost Surf Cube, Mist Cape, and especially Kill Switch revolvers. All of these weapons made combat such a good experience, and I loved how the Mist Gauntlet and Cape was able to be combined. In expense, a slot made it broken. With a drawback. I also think that the leveling system was done here the best way, because it was basically killing players, made you rank up, and with higher rank, you get better rewards, which not only encourages more PvP, but it also rewarded the Superman plays with my favorite drop spot because of the launching slide, and this is the reason why Heroes is number 1. It's the most funnest in the Fortnite chapter, because of how wild it was. Heroes might have better boss event, and map, and better battle pass, but Super was the only season in Chapter 6 that didn't bore me even at the near end of the season. That's why, in my opinion, Super is the best season in Chapter 6. Overall, I think this season was okay. flatly thought that Chapter 5 was a bit better because it was more experimental. I know that people hated Wrecked because of the cars, but at least it was a new idea that was based on a terrible idea. Chapter 6, Player It. A bit too safe to my liking, but I hope the next chapter will be an improvement. And so far, they changed the bus drop to surfing, which is a cool change, but that's it for today. Fear God, this video took me nearly a week to make, so now I'm gonna go gone. For a while, see you all, bye!